Year 11. So let's have a look at the describing criteria. There's three things that we have to do here. Let's skip to the third. Business terminology. You're just going to be using thoughtful business words. That's the easiest part of this. The other two things are the accurate recognition of business facts and characteristics. So that's about the business you're looking at. And the part that people often forget is the business environment. And what part of that is related to strategic development, which is the growth of the business in this case. There's 3 marks, so it's going to be roughly 300 words long. Let's have a little look at this as an example, and you can always pause and have a look in more depth if you want to spend more time. It starts with looking at select nightwear, and it looks at the describing of the business facts and characteristics. So things like the drop in sales. There's been a 30% drop in sales across its 20 stores. Overall, there's a fall in sales because of poor wage growth and high housing prices. So there are the example of some business facts and characteristics. So that's the first thing. What are the business facts and characteristics you need for your own business? Then we look at the business environment. So when we're thinking about the business environment, we're thinking about the internal environment. So that might be things like employees and management. We're thinking about the day-to-day environment, the operating environment, which might be things like competitors and suppliers. And then the macro environment, the big economic environment, which is your steeple things like changes in social interests, the economy, technology, and so on. And here they've looked at increasing competition, online sales, and a downturn in traditional stores. They're the 3 areas they've gone to meet that criteria. Can I just suggest too, as you're doing this, that we're not just trying to write things in straight away, that we're doing our reading, becoming a subject expert, and then taking points down from it. So as an example, I've put together here a little bit of work around Qantas, and it's 52 words long. And it would be what I would put together if I was just doing a research and finding some important facts. So this is about describing the business itself. So the largest airline, domestic and international, ASX share market listed, market capitalisation of 9.66 billion. So that means like the size of the business, operating since 1920, and a market share of 61%. It's more efficient, right? 20% fewer words. If I just take the time to put my most important facts down and then say, how can I combine those to put together a really effective piece of writing and that doesn't use as many words? So this is the example. And it's something I would suggest that you think about. Dot points of the important information and then jotting it down. When we're doing describing, here's the things that we sometimes get wrong. Often we do a good job of the business itself. We talk about where it is, how it's grown, what it sells, those things. But we forget about the business environment. So the business environment includes the internal environment, staff and managers, the operating environment, suppliers and competitors, the external environment, steeple, things like social trends, technology, the economy, the environment, the political, legal and ethical issue. So 3 to 5 important facts from this environment should be part of this description. And I've just gone back over those things that they've talked about there. They talked about, in the exam from QCAA, they talked about competition, they talked about growth in online stores and downturn in traditional retail. That leads to competition is about the operating environment day to day, and most of you will be able to find good data about competition. Growth in online stores, that's about technology, and downturn in traditional retail, that's around trends around customer preferences. So I think you could set out your notes this way if you wanted to have a little note-taking table. What's related to the business, what's related to the business environment, and remembering the third part is the fact that you've got to always be using good business language. So finally, what's the business problem? And for most of us, it's going to be that businesses will want, in the growth stage, will want to keep growing in a competitive market. So those 300 words, pop those things into 300 words and you'll be in great shape.